Hello and welcome to Is Riverdale Good, the weekly podcast where we recap each episode of Riverdale and explore ships, theories, casting news, official press, juicy off-screen rumors, and answer the question on everyone's mind. Is Riverdale actually good?
Yes.
I'm Chris, and with me, as always, is my partner in life, love, and podcasting, Brittany.
Hi.
Today we're talking about Chapter 5, Heart of Darkness.
Heart of Darkness, you guys, is actually a novel written by Joseph Conrad, and it's like one of the few books that we had to read in high school that I absolutely hated simply because it was really hard to like actually read and comprehend. Like the entire time, I wasn't actually sure where we were or what was happening or like who the characters even were. And I don't know, maybe it's because I was 17 and I didn't get it, but It was super hard. Essentially, from Wikipedia, because I literally couldn't remember, it's the story of a man, and he's traveling up the Congo River in Africa, and essentially the underlying themes of the novel are about how there's not really a difference between civilized people and quote unquote savages. And it's more of a story about like imperialism and racism, London and Africa in that time. So clearly a lot to do with the town with pep, Riverdale. Although I will say the one thing I will relate, this episode is like pretty heavily focused on the Blossom family.
Yeah.
And I do feel like there is an expectation, since they're like the richest family in town, for them to be, you expect them to be very poshed and very civilized, but actually they are the worst.
Yeah.
Their family is sketchy and terrible. So
yeah,
maybe
it's
it's like expectation
with them this week,
versus reality.
Yeah.
Or as Chris said, maybe they just wanted, maybe they just wanted the title to say Heart of Darkness because it's very like,
there's a lot of darkness
evocative
in this episode. So, Heart of Darkness, whatever.
Exactly.
And I guess going into, venturing deep into Thornhill, where the Blossoms live, maybe Thornhill is the Heart of Darkness. Anyway.
It seems like it is. That's actually good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So we left off last week with Jughead leaving the Twilight Drive-In for the last time and learning that
Jughead is homeless, you guys.
Not only is Jughead
he was
homeless,
living at the drive-in.
It's true. His dad is also the Southside Serpent that Hermione has been cutting deals with.
Because his dad is in a gang.
Whew, heavy.
Where are you going to live now? I'll figure it out, Dad. I always do. Oh, God.
Breaking our hearts, Jug.
Sweet BB. We don't find out where he's living in this episode. So for anyone the cliffhanger where I was like, we must continue watching, you don't get that
still up in
this
the air.
Episode.
True, yeah. We actually start this episode at Thornhill, the spooky Blossom estate.
And they have their own graveyard, which I guess most family estates do, but like, that's so creepy.
Exactly.
Especially since Jason's dead, it makes it extra creepy.
Yeah, we open on the scene where Cheryl is like gliding around. She goes to open Jason's casket and it's empty.
There's just like blood marks
with like
in there.
Marks on it, and then zombie Jason is right behind her.
No!
Oh my God. Just kidding, guys. It's all a dream.
Yeah, he reaches out to like strangle her and she screams and wakes up. But she's in his room, and his room is like so black with like hints of red, and she's in this like long like dressing gown thing. Yeah. Oh my God.
And isn't there in the comic book canon like a zombie?
There is something like
there's
that.
Like something
there's Riverdale
Archie
After
plus
Dark.
Zombies.
Riverdale After Dark, I think is what that one is. And
strange.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I think I've heard
threw a little bit of
on
fun
the internet.
In there.
That they were like, oh, there should be a zombie episode or whatever. And so I think
there really shouldn't.
I completely agree with that. I don't think there should.
But they threw in zombie Jason. This is not. I will tease. This is not the last time we see zombie Jason.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go.
It's not the last time.
I don't remember. We're up. Brittany has 5 viewings. I have like 1.5.
Sorry.
So I'll take your word for that. So anyway, she's broke. She's in. Cheryl is dreaming, and she gets woken up. She's in Jason's bed, and her mom comes in and tells her that she will not be speaking at Jason's memorial. And the speech she was working on gets crumpled up and thrown in the trash.
God,
so
she's like, you're just going to say something that will humiliate us.
Yeah. So where's that coming from?
All right.
Oof, ouch. Cut back to the Andrews house where Archie...
Another shirtless, gleaming abbed Archie is just like punching a bag in the middle of the night.
Do you think they had a bet, like, can we work a shirtless Archie into the beginning scene of every episode?
It seems like they do, doesn't it? It's like he woke up, he was shirtless. Like, woke up flawless. Like, that's like what I feel like it is with KJ. They're just like, woke up, KJ shirtless. Yep. Something happened, KJ shirtless. So, I don't even know. I guess it's morning It looked like it was
I
nighttime,
have
but
no
like
idea.
at the scene before that, Cheryl just woke up.
I think it's nighttime because Fred is like, oh, I couldn't sleep because Archie.
Yeah, that's true. Fred is literally like, can you not?
Yeah, so Archie was
are you
up
serious?
all night punching that bag. I
Also,
don't know,
how does he have a punching bag in his room?
No.
That thing's super heavy. I'm like, don't you have to like fix that to the ceiling? Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
Anyway,
Okay.
so yes. So
Anyway.
Archie's working on the bag, trying to get back in fighting shape for football. Coach is naming a new captain of the football team.
Yeah.
And Archie is trying to become captain so he can get a scholarship
To college
so he
to
can
study music.
Yeah.
So like that's his new plan, which to be fair,
Yep.
that's a legitimate
It's a
plan.
decent plan.
Like as soon as Grundy left town, he's like, cool, great.
Yeah,
I'll
back-
get my life together.
back to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm like, okay, I'm on board.
Yeah, Fred
Love
seems
it.
pretty cool with it too. So
Great.
Anyway,
And
then
we hit up school. And Kevin has reconstructed the murder board in the
Yeah.
blue and gold offices for Betty and Jughead. And he's like, well, they stole all the audio and video interviews. They stole everything. But like, this is pretty much what my dad had. So they're starting to look at it. And then who pops in the room but Travis, Valerie's brother, who was the one that led them to the location of the burn book. And he's like, hey.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he's like, hey, guys. And he's like, wow. And Jughead's like, yeah, it's a murder board. He's like, get out. He's
And
like,
then
why are you here? And he's like, hey, Betty, hi. And she's like, oh, hey, Trav. And he's like, just wanted to see if we were still on for tomorrow. And she's like, yeah, it's a date. And Kevin's face is like, what? Like, give me all the details. And Jughead's face is like, what? No.
Yeah, that's-
Why? Get out.
The scene is one of the most used in Riverdale crack, just for
We
like
love it.
sound of silence.
Well, yeah,
for
and you know,
Jughead.
she's like, oh yeah, it's a date, and then she's like, like bye, because she's Betty and she's
Yeah.
great, and Kevin's like, oh, like going on a date with Trav, like, are you sure your mom's gonna let that happen? And she's like, I'm not on house arrest, but also she's out of town.
Yeah.
and she's like, but it's not a real date.
It's to gather intel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to get intel. And Jughead's like, you just said it was a date. You literally said the words, it's a date. And she's like, that's just a cover. And then he like calms down a little bit.
But he's like, hey, don't be mixing business and
We
pleasure.
got some little weird
wonder,
vibes there. He did not seem very happy about Betty going on a date with Trav.
I wonder what's going on with that.
Kevin was like into it.
Yeah, Kevin
he was
was
like,
like,
oh, Betty
Yeah,
and a
girl."
date.
Yeah,
To be fair, if anyone deserves to go on a nice date, it's Betty.
that's true.
God.
That's true.
Oh man.
Betty needs a break for
Yeah.
sure. Then we flip over to football practice where Archie's head is not in the game.
Poor Archie. Get your head in the game, as they say in High School Musical.
It's true. As we've been told, the coach is going to name a new captain, and
Pressure's on.
Reggie is. We learn in the locker room that Reggie is Archie's main competition. He looks
Mantle
at
the
both of them,
Magnificent.
and he says, "Hey, it's a horse race."
Yeah, he's like one of
Good
you,
luck.
and he's like, after 1 week, I'm gonna tell you who's captain between the two of you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
so
they're both 15
the game is on.
on varsity.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. None of these other kids that have been on
It's a
the team for 3
really,
years. I almost
really
said
weak senior
squad.
class.
I almost said none of these other kids that have been on the squad for 3 years, and I was like, no,
That works.
that is
See what's wrong with that?
River Vixen.
Oh yeah.
Talk.
Whatever.
Yeah, but whatever.
Whatever.
So that's the stakes of the
Yeah.
entire episode is essentially
Stakes,
like Archie footballing.
Our medium high
Stakes
school football career.
have never been lower.
That's yeah. We're gonna be going quick.
I'm
through
like,
Archie's
okay, like
storyline
we don't
'cause
care
it's
about
lame.
this. Jughead is homeless. Like, let us get to the real story.
Archie may want to be captain, but Jughead is sleeping in the gutter. Yeah.
Archie's like, but my music.
yeah.
Good.
So then we have.
Another thing that's too much of in this episode is this next thing.
Yes.
I'll let you say.
We're at Pops. Fred drops in to pick up an order and asks Hermione
Too
out
much Fred and
again.
Hermione.
Yeah. So he asks Hermione out again, and then Hermione says, "Oh, that wasn't a date when we were at the
she's
drive-in."
like, I'm married,
She's
and
like,
so are you.
Yeah, back up. And he's like, "Oh, sorry. Okay,
Oh
bye."
God, he's so like butthurt about it.
bad.
I hate it. He's just like, oh, I guess I misunderstood.
I mean,
bye.
To
I mean,
be
to be fair, like,
he
yeah,
is
it
polite
seemed like
about
it was
He's
a
like,
date.
you know what? I misunderstood. Bye. But
I guess, but it was like, I don't know. It's
I
like a
feel
wounded animal
what happens
leaving.
in the future may be
God.
shading your perspective.
Yeah,
on that.
it is. That's true.
We'll get there.
Yeah. In the context of the whole episode, I was like, ugh,
Yeah, that's true.
Fred, I'm tired of you.
Then we're back at school, hanging out on the bleachers. As Cheryl says, sad breakfast club.
Oh my God, yes. She's like, sorry to interrupt Sad Breakfast Club, but here are black invitations with red seals from my family to my brother's memorial.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's something that we like hand out invitations. I just imagine like their family, like butler being like, now pass these out to all your friends at school.
Don't forget about this.
Exactly. It's like a thing where it's like, make sure everyone in the class gets one. No one needs to feel left out.
Yeah, so true.
So that's a thing. And but yeah, right before that, you know, Kevin's teasing Betty about her date with Travis, and Veronica asked Archie how his life is in a PG world that is post Grundy. Too soon? And of course he's like, no, I'm really focused on football. Betty goes, are you maybe throwing yourself into football to avoid your feelings? And he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. We're like, yes, you are, Archie. Yes, you are.
I like how in every scene there's one character who says exactly what's going on. Like, Veronica's done this in other scenes. Like, you're doing this. And he's like, no, I'm not.
I'm pretty sure you're bearing your emotions. The other thing that happens in this scene is that Valerie, like, pops up out of nowhere because apparently she's in the gang now. And she's like, Archie, like, I heard Miss Grundy left town. I have this like associate professor of music that I'd like to like connect you with.
College.
Yeah, or whatever. And she's like, here, give him a call. So like Archie's gonna give him a call.
That's the dramatic climax right before the title card. The music is swelling and he's in the
like,
locker room, picks up his phone. He's like, hello, it's me, Archie. I'd like music lessons.
I believe you're expecting my call.
Yeah, exactly.
But before that, which I think is more exciting, Cheryl invites Veronica to a sleepover at her house the night before the memorial.
Yeah. Veronica kind of tries to bury the hatchet. She's like, hey, you know, this will only end in mutual annihilation.
It's true. They are both very formidable. Like, neither of them's going to back down. So she's kind of like, how about we just like calm it down against each other and we can work together or just be normal.
Exactly. So Veronica will be sleeping over at Thornhill.
Creepy Thornhill.
The night before.
Don't worry about
Cheryl's brother's memorial.
Seems legit.
Whatever.
May or may not be a zombie. We don't know.
Unconfirmed zombie.
Yeah. Unconfirmed zombie.
Exactly.
Anyway, yes.
In the next scene, we'll just try to go straight through these.
Essentially, Archie goes to the music lessons with this professor, and he's like, kind of a jerk, and he's like, you're not prepared, you don't write enough, you don't do this, where's your sheet music, etc., etc. So Archie's like, all right, I'll get it done, I'll bring it to you.
Yeah. Then we go back to Thornhill. The Blossom parents are talking to Sheriff Keller, and they're saying that we've invited everyone from town, everyone who's a potential suspect.
Yes.
So the probability is high that the murderer will be at this event. To which Cheryl says, oh, you're inviting everybody so you can investigate them?
Yeah, spoiler alert. Of course they were. They invited the Lodge family, who they hate. Of course.
They hate everybody, and everybody's going to be there. So,
and also there's a giant, like, ornately framed picture of Jason.
Yes.
Like, in a blazer.
No other family members, just Jason.
Just Jason. Like, the giant picture next to his casket is insane.
And even throughout the house, I feel like there are no other...
No, it's literally just pictures of Jason.
Yeah. Weird. Anyway.
I feel like they hate Cheryl.
Yeah.
I feel like I probably only feel like that because Jason's dead, and I feel like they blame Cheryl, which we get to in a little bit further in the episode. But yeah.
So what, you got a little excited there.
Oh, I got really excited about the next scene because it's, of course, guess where Betty and Travis go on their date. If you guessed Pops, you guessed correctly.
The one dining establishment.
The only restaurant in town. Pops.
Yep.
So, you know, she's like, it's me, Betty. I'm being cute and not at all like asking you for information. And she's like, but anyway, like, what about you and Jason? That must be hard for you guys because you were friends, right? And he's like, it's just us talking here, right? And she's like,
of course.
Yeah. She's like copiously taking notes under the table.
She's got a steno pad going under the table.
She like slides one of those recorders across and is like, do you mind if I tape this conversation?
Yeah, exactly.
Jughead like comes from under the booth like with a microphone. But anyway, she's like, of course it's just us. And he said, right after Jason and Polly started dating, he started acting super secretive. He stopped calling me back. He stopped talking to all of his friends. He started selling everything he owned for cash, and then Travis heard that he was dealing drugs, like any kind of drug. She's like, what kind of drugs? And he's like, literally anything. I don't know. That's just what I heard. And she's like, and that was definitely like after he started like hanging out with Polly, and he was like, yep. So that's the info we get at the date, which, like, to be fair, Betty, wise choice on going on a date with Travis, because that is very valuable information.
She got some great details there. Yeah.
How's no one know about this. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was exciting.
So the stakes were high there, learning about the mystery, and then stakes immediately get very low. We're
Well,
back at the Andrews house. Archie,
Valerie is in Archie's room.
Yes,
very
exactly.
close. Their faces are very close together, but like they're working.
and she's like teaching him how to do sheet music, like he doesn't understand.
I mean,
it.
he
Which,
probably
to be
doesn't
fair,
understand.
If he plays guitar, he probably doesn't understand.
I don't
sheet
know.
music.
But anyway, the funniest part of this scene is that Fred Andrews is like, Archie, and then he opens the door
Dad
and
of
he's
the
like,
year, Fred
"Huh?
Andrews. Yeah.
There's a girl in here, son.
Yeah. And Fred does not know what to do.
so weird.
Oh, Valerie, hello.
Also, he like fangirls over Valerie because she's in the Pussycats.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a huge fan.
I know.
Of Pussycats.
That's what he said. He goes, I'm a
whoa,
big fan.
Fred, okay.
Oh my God, Fred,
Okay.
you're so weird. God, and it's like one of those relatable scenes to make every teenager be like, ew, yes, my parents are so embarrassing.
I've totally
Because the whole
had
time
this
he's like,
moment,
okay,
yeah.
Dad, bye.
Yeah.
Like, get out of my room. And he's like, all right, I'll just close this door. Not all the way. I'm like, Fred, you didn't even know she
That's a
was up
great
here
line.
until 2 seconds ago, and the door was like open then too. I'm pretty sure.
Fred has no control over his household. Archie sneaks out, he
That's
doesn't
true.
care. Archie invites girls over, he doesn't
You're
care.
right.
Archie's punching a bag all night, he doesn't care.
Yeah, he
Doesn't
usually
care.
just looks like he's a little surprised, and then he's just like resigned.
Yeah,
he's like,
it's
yeah,
true.
okay. I guess this is how my life is.
Yeah.
My son just does this
My
stuff,
son's
and
all
I have
over
to
the
just
place.
deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
We've seen that
he's-
grounding doesn't work, so.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God.
Then we flip over next door.
Another parent-child moment.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
We flip over to the Cooper house. Betty is helping her dad work on a car, which is cool. That's
As we know, she's
canon.
super successful from when she broke into Grunge.
Yes,
VW
exactly.
Bug, so good.
Yep. And she tries to get some info from her dad about Polly. She
Yeah,
asks,
she sidles right up there and she's like, Dad, Mom won't talk about this with
Yeah.
me. She shuts me down. Like, can we talk about it?
yeah, what did Jason do? She
Yeah.
asks. And her dad explains that Polly and Jason had a fight. Polly got upset and tried to kill herself.
Yeah, he's like, she was devastated and she was trying to hurt herself. So that's why we sent her away so she wouldn't try to take her own life again.
Yeah, and that she's getting better. Or we learn in the next scene that he says she's getting better.
Betty
but,
tells Jughead about it the next day.
Yeah, but she had a setback when she learned that Jason
was dead.
Yeah. So,
She's like, I asked if I could call her, but, he said that she was doing better. Now she's really not doing good. So he doesn't want to upset her.
yeah, and we covered that while we're in the student lounge. Betty is recounting the story to Jughead, and Jughead starts asking why would Jason be selling drugs.
Yeah, she's trying to
which is a
dig
good question.
into why exactly this huge change in his personality. And she's like, well, he was running away from his parents, which is what Cheryl said. And Jughead's like, or he was running from drug dealers. And he's like, although what you said is more likely. And he's like, but why specifically now is he leaving?
And more importantly, how can we figure it out? Oh, I know. We'll go snoop around in his room.
Perfect, Jughead.
During
Yes.
the ceremony.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
Correct.
The sleuthing team is in action.
Here we go. Meanwhile, in the low stakes section, they're
Back
like,
to the
let's
world of
find out
low
what
stakes."
happened to your suicidal sister
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
kid who was murdered's house. Meanwhile, Archie didn't have time to memorize his football plays because he was doing his sheet music and he hurts his hand
Yep.
at practice.
Yep, and Reggie tries to
That's
Reggie
it.
tries to get him to take a break, and he's
he
like,
said,
"What are you
"No."
afraid of me, Reggie?" Ugh.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yep.
Because he's boring and terrible. Then, he's wrapping his hand. Veronica sees. She comes over and, starts wrapping his hand for him and being all cute. And he's like, oh, I was up all night with Valerie. And she's like, oh, Valerie?
You jealous?
Excuse
Veronica?
me? And she's like, no, I'm not jealous. I already had my 7 minutes in heaven with you. And I'm like, I love how she's like, no, I'm not jealous. And then she reminds him of how much he wanted to make out with her.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
It's a masterful
She's great.
move, yeah.
I'm like, yes, killing it. And then she takes his arm and gives it a little kiss. And she's like, okay, Archiekins, control yourself better next time. I'm like, girl, you've got him. The look he gave her when she left, I was like, pfft, I'm sorry, Valerie, in between, girl.
Yeah.
come on.
You could cut the tension
It's
in that scene
Veronica
with a
forever.
knife.
Yeah, oh my God, it's so obvious.
Yep.
She's got him. Yeah.
Yeah, stakes get even lower in the next scene. We're back at Carson College.
Oh yeah, the teacher's like, your sheet music is fine. I don't think I can help you. Goodbye.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the last thing we see.
I guess we don't have the connection that you and your former
Ew.
music teacher, Miss Grundy, had.
Clearly, I should hope not.
Yeah, and that's the end of that one.
Get out.
Then we flip
Here we
back
go.
to Thornhill. Veronica is
ramping
at
up.
dinner with the Blossoms. The sleepover does not include other girls. It's just Cheryl and
Just
Veronica.
Veronica eating dinner with Penelope and Clifford Blossom, Cheryl, and then their creepy Grandma Rose, who has all silver hair and one red streak of hair in her updo, and like she doesn't say anything.
Oh yeah,
the whole dinner, and she's very crazy, intimidating.
We learn important detail for the future that Riverdale was founded on the maple syrup industry. That's why it's called Sweetwater River.
That's where their family made their money. But then they make a weird comment like Sweetwater River got its name from maple syrup, and they're like, maybe you should talk to your dad Hiram about that.
Yeah,
Surprised he
they
didn't
bring
tell
up her
you.
dad in the most like aggressive way.
Yeah, you can tell that they really don't like her dad. And you know, they're like, wow, it must have been really hard for you to watch your dad being handcuffed in front of all of your neighbors, except for they sound really excited. Like that's Clifford Blossom. He's like, must have been hard for you to see your dad and put in handcuffs and taken out in front of all of your neighbors and all of your friends. Was that hard? He's so excited.
She plays it off really well though, because she's like, yeah, it also must have been hard to like lose your son.
Yeah, that's true. She's like, it happened so fast, I didn't get to say goodbye. I'm glad you guys get to say goodbye to Jason. And then Penelope goes, well, some of us already got to say goodbye when they were rowing them across the river to their death, and then gets away, gets up from the table and leaves. So like, that's why they hate Cheryl.
Because they blame Cheryl for Jason's death.
Yeah, because she helped him leave.
You know, is unjustified because she...
I mean, he was going to leave anyway.
Seems to be innocent
if she
as of
said,
right
no,
now.
I'm not going to help you, he would have left anyway. But I guess, you know, what is she going to snitch on him to their parents when he said he's running from them?
Well, that's true, yeah.
You know?
And then as far as like her being the murderer, she's got the least motivation because she really seems to
She's very
love
devastated.
Jason. So,
yeah. There's no way that she was the one that killed him.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No.
We won't reveal who the killer is, but I will speculate.
No spoilers here, yeah.
No spoilers.
But it seems very unlikely that it's her at this point.
I don't think so.
Then we go back to Pops. Hermione is closing up. She's bricking the grill, and she hears a little disturbance
ding, ding.
out in the main dining area. And there's a banker's box
there
on the floor, a cardboard
What
box.
did you think was in the box? She goes up to the box, flips the lid, and like scoots back and is like, ah!
Yeah, well,
I thought it was a dead person's head.
on it. Me too.
I thought we were gonna go with that
because of Seven. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's as soon as you
I was
asked,
like, "What's in the box?"
When I saw it, I was like, "What's in the box?
What's in the
What's in the box?" It was not that.
It's
It was
not a
it
head,
was
you guys.
It was just a snake.
It was just a Southside serpent
What?
in snake form. Do you think all the Southside
Snake form?
serpents
Whoa.
get it? Do you think all the Southside serpents have snakes as pets?
No, that would be no.
That's too much?
Yeah, it's
You
like
think that's too much?
Too on
Is that
the
like,
nose.
what if it would be like,
That's like
one person had to give up their pet for this threat? They were like, oh man, like, you know what I mean? Like they were like, all right, Joey,
That's
it's
so
your
true.
turn, and they're
That's
like, no.
so true. And the little the Southside serpent is like, you've been a good friend,
Oh, poor baby.
Samuel the snake.
Yeah, exactly. But
So-
yeah, get it, Southside serpents. So they sent a snake.
One of my favorite Riverdale crack things is they cut that scene and they Photoshop Grundy's head onto
the snake head. It's so funny.
So that was pretty good.
Elicit some screams.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. And then in another like creepy fashion, the next scene is like Betty wakes up in the middle of the night and like her house is really dark and she hears like little girl laughter.
Yeah,
she
very
starts
weird.
hearing like these weird sounds.
Are the zombies back?
Exactly. And she's like, you know, it's all shadowy and she's like leaving her room and like going down the stairs and she's like, Polly? And she opens the basement door and it's like everyone being like, don't go in there, no, because you know how creepy like little kid laughs are.
Oh yeah.
Like especially during the dark and scary stuff. So you know, she creeps down the basement stairs. It's just her dad really creepily watching like
It's
old
not that creepy.
yeah, it's not, but like it's just creepy in the context until
Yeah.
you get there. But it's him watching like old home movies of like young Polly.
Yep.
So she's, you know, practicing or whatever and she's like, Dad, stop filming me, and you know, he's like wistfully watching it, which is sad.
Yeah, it is sad. So it's like, oh, how,
So that's kind of rough.
Hal misses his
yeah,
daughter.
poor Hal.
Then we go back to Cheryl's bedroom to the sleepover of the year,
Oh my God,
2017.
weirdest sleepover.
Veronica and Cheryl are talking about Jason, and Cheryl mentions that she wants to be able to speak at the
Memorial but her
tomorrow.
mom said she couldn't.
And
Veronica's like, so do it.
she wants to do it because she wants everyone to know that she's sorry about all of this. And so it's like, okay, it makes sense that she can't grieve through this fully privately. So Veronica, being Veronica, encourages her to deliver the message. So like, just do it.
Yeah.
You know,
she's like, go
forget
ahead.
what her parents
She's
say.
like, I want people to know Jason deserved a better family than the one that he got.
Exactly. So
I'm like, oh. Also, side note, Cheryl's bed is amazing. Like her headboard is this giant, like fancy. Regal Marie Antoinette like feeling bed, and I just like, of course, I feel it so hard.
Good job, set designers.
Yeah, Veronica's like, okay, go ahead and do it, and Cheryl's like, she's like, it's not like their parents will just react how they react, and she's like, they'll kill me.
Yeah.
But she says it like not in a joking way.
Because nobody messes around with the Blossoms.
I know, I'm like, and then you have that flashback to Alice Cooper being like, I feel like remember she was like, I feel like the Blossoms killed Jason themselves and sacrificed him in some sort of weird ritual. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because they're creepy and terrible. So, yeah, I don't know. So that was a little creepy, but anyway, more Hermione and Fred.
Yep, so Hermione calls Fred to help dispose of the snakes, and he asks, why didn't you call the cops? Why didn't you call animal control?
She only trusts Fred, you guys. What a sad world this is.
It's true.
When Hermione is like, I don't trust the police or animal control or anyone else. I only trust you, Fred Andrews.
Because this is a message that the serpent sent, because Hiram owes the serpents money, which,
she tells Fred that, yeah. So
he hired the serpents
to devalue
the land, and then he bought the land.
But he didn't pay them enough,
I guess.
Or you know what? Probably there was a shortage of cash because they froze all their assets and stuff. So I bet he was probably paying them like consistent payments, like monthly or however many times they would go to the drive-in, and maybe he just got behind because he was arrested.
Okay, I'll buy that.
I don't know. That's what I think.
Yep. In the next scene, we're in Betty's...
But that's a good point.
Yeah.
He gave all the money from... You know what? Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Whatever. Or maybe the serpents are just like, price just went up. One of those things.
Yeah.
Maybe where it's like, oh, you went to jail, price just went up.
Owes the money. Maybe they're blackmailing him.
On interest or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. We'll have to check with Jughead's dad, head of the Southside Serpents, for the real reason.
It's true. Meanwhile, Jughead is all dressed up, pops into Betty's bedroom.
Oh, yeah, they're on their way to the memorial.
Looking good.
He like pops in his beanie and a suit.
Yeah, beanie and a suit. Yep, looking good.
She turns around.
He's got the suspenders up instead of down.
She doesn't even say anything. She just like looks him like she does a little subtle up down, and then he like is like, oh, it's the best I could do, and she just like cocks her head and like gives him a little smile, and then he like looks to the side all embarrassed and gives a little smile. It was really sweet. I thought it was cute.
Something going on.
She's like, hey, I notice you, which I feel like people. I feel like most of the entire season, Jughead's been a character that people aren't really noticing. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's
so I feel like
point,
when Betty is like, "Oh, you look so nice," he's like, "What?
Thank you."
Like that's a thing that people notice.
Acknowledging my existence.
Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. So they're getting closer, investigating, and
definitely. And then we get to the main event, the memorial at Thornhill Manor. Hermione offers her condolences to Miss Blossom, who takes it as an insult.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper.
So true.
She's like, thanks so much, takes her by the hand and then like whips her in real close, and she's like, I see you've come to gloat.
Yeah,
with warm regards from your husband.
All your children are alive. Like,
I'm sure. So you see that there's there is something up with the Blossoms and Hiram Lodge. They do not like each other
There's
at
also
all.
something up with the Blossoms and looking at Archie's face.
Oh God, so true.
So Archie gives Mrs. Blossom Jason's jersey.
Which should have been done a long time ago.
I don't see why this wasn't done earlier. Yeah. And she does the same thing that Cheryl did, which is be like, you look so much like him, and like goes into a trance, and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, Archibald. Like,
oh yeah,
you just
calls
look
him Archibald.
so similar. What? Oh my God.
I know, that was really uncomfortable. He sits down, and Kevin's like, did she just touch your face?
Yeah. And Betty in the back is like, that was so sweet of you to give her that.
Yeah. Also, Valerie's sitting next to Archie because she's in the gang now.
Yeah, exactly.
Every scene, I'm like,
swooping in
what
there.
are you doing in here, Valerie? Yeah. Not that I don't like it, but I'm just
You're
like, oh,
welcome.
like, hello.
Yeah.
There you are. You're here again. All right.
She's like, I'm not in the book. Maybe she is in the book, but I don't know.
She's in the Pussycats, babe.
That's true. And the Pussycats are in the book.
But yeah, and Veronica's like, it really puts things in perspective. At least we're all alive.
Yeah, here and alive.
It's true.
And then, bringing the whole show to a stop, Cheryl enters the memorial in a white dress where everyone else is dressed in black to this like slow cover of Tears for Fears Shout.
It's amazing.
It's really good.
It's amazing.
It's a very indulgent scene in the best way.
It's the outfit she wore at the river with Jason when she last saw him. And then as she's walking down the aisle, Kevin goes, yes.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, Kevin.
I was like, Kevin, you are the audience right now. You are all of us. Thank you so much. Like, she goes straight up to the podium and she's like, hi, welcome everyone. Like, her parents are off to the side and she's like, everyone can sit.
Yep.
I'd like to start by saying a few words about Jason.
Mm-hmm. And she gives this speech about how no one wanted to come to her birthday party. She wanted to have a separate birthday party.
This was really sweet.
Normally they would have a joint one, and Jason protected her.
She would insist on having separate birthday parties. Right. And one year, and Jason said, like, no, we need to combine them. And she didn't understand why, and then she found out later it's because no one wanted to come to hers.
Yep, and she says he protected me and then I couldn't protect him. So she feels guilty about it.
Yeah.
And then she kind of breaks down and Veronica takes her away.
She does this really dramatic, like she throws herself on the coffin and she's like, I'm sorry, JJ.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. You deserve better than all of us.
That's true.
Yeah, Veronica hugs her, then Penelope's like, okay, let's adjourn for a light supper. I'm like, because we serve supper at memorials?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What is happening? Also, Betty...
You could have gone with refreshments, people.
Betty sees her dad and Clifford Blossom having like a little weird, strained conversation by the bar.
Yeah,
as well. Which she's like, put that in the vault for later.
Yeah. Then, in the hallway, now that he feels sorry for her, Fred offers Hermione the bookkeeping job that he did not give to her in episode 1 because her husband was convicted of fraud.
Right. Now that he knows she actually needs money to pay off gang members.
Right. He's like, I
sure,
can help you
now
with
you
that.
can work for my company. But before, when I thought you were just trying to like make a name for yourself again, I said no. But also, we went on a date again, and I kind of want to hang out around you more.
Also, he's trying to get with her, too.
Come on, Fred.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, they have a hug, and it like lingers for a little while.
That's true, yeah.
So, we get the feeling that they're going to grow even closer now that she's working for him.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Then we cut to...
It's like Hermione can do better than Fred.
In Riverdale, though? Like, who else we got?
Hermione's married.
Is Sheriff Keller single?
Oh, that is a good question.
So I'm just saying, he'd be a catch.
Season 2.
He'd be a
Sheriff
catch
Keller,
for one of those ladies
the
of
dating
Riverdale.
game.
Yeah.
Dating game.
Exactly.
Sheriff Keller.
Hey.
I'm into that, actually. I like that.
Wouldn't that be interesting if he adopted
Oh my God, Veronica and Kevin could be siblings. That would be so perfect.
That'd be great.
Oh my God. I'm really excited. Let's tweet at them.
Let's make it happen. Yeah. At Riverdale Writers Room, here we go.
Yeah. What is Sheriff Keller's first name? Do we even know?
I don't know. I kept trying to put it in my notes.
That's going to be their ship name? Sheriff Miney?
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Sheriff Miney? Yeah.
In the next scene, we're in Jason's bedroom.
This is great. This is Betty and Jughead and are like,
let's some hardcore
use
snooping.
This time to break away from the pack and search Jason's bedroom for clues.
Yep, and they're caught by
oh my God, creepy
grandma who was hanging out behind the door in classic horror movie fashion.
Jughead jumps behind Betty and is pushing her towards her. He like,
says,
the horror. It seems like grandma is blind in one eye. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she's got a cloudy eye.
Yeah, she has a cloudy eye and she's wheeling towards them and she's like, hello, dear. So nice to see you again. Come closer. And Jughead's like, aren't go. Pushes her towards her. Pushes Betty towards her. And she, reaches out for Betty's hand and she goes, oh, of course you're not wearing it, you poor thing. And she's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, the ring, Polly. And
what?
We're like, what? And she's like, well, that ring has been in our family for generations. Don't tell Penelope I gave it to you.
What?
And everyone's like, huh. And Betty's like, what? And Jughead's like, what? And she's like, your wedding was the last thing I was living for. You've lost the love of your young life. And Betty gets super emotional and is like, I have to go.
I gotta go.
Jughead's face is like he saw a ghost. They're both so surprised. And I was also surprised.
Yeah, some heavy knowledge bombs there.
Yeah,
sure.
That was insane.
Then we go to Cheryl's room where Penelope is going off on Cheryl and threatens to ship her off to a boarding school. So
she grabbed her by the face and was like, it was some really intense stuff. She's like, you're done with the River Vixens. You're not on the team anymore. You've embarrassed us again.
Yep.
And she's like, if it weren't for the fact that no one would have you, I'd be shipping you off to a boarding school tonight.
Brutal. Yeah.
Ugh.
So after that heaviness, we cut back to low stakes world where Archery, that's
their name. Archie and Valerie.
Yeah, I like it. Archie and Valerie are sitting in a booth at Pops talking, and she basically just tells him to buck up. Music is hard. Don't let the fact that this guy didn't want to teach you discourage you. Moving on. Back to the Cooper house. Betty
This is good. This
tells
gets good.
Hal that Jason and Polly were engaged, and Hal was like, oh, yeah, I knew about that.
Rude, Hal. Literally, Betty asked you about this earlier in the episode, and everybody's like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, Dad, did you know about this?
And then she keeps pressing Hal, and Hal explains.
She's like, I saw you arguing with Clifford. What's that about?
And it turns out it's a blood feud, as Betty says.
Naturally.
He says, the Blossoms almost destroyed our family because their great-grandfather murdered your great-grandfather. They went into business together, and then great-grandfather Blossom didn't want to share the profits, so he killed great-grandfather Cooper.
And Hal is like really holding on to this.
He really is.
Like Betty's like, are you serious, Dad? This is like a feud from like before you were born. This is her dad's grandfather. And he's like, they, screwed us out of our livelihood. And he's like, and like, I will die before they steal my daughter.
What?
Too. And I was like, what?
The hell?
Because I guess they were engaged, so he didn't want her to be part of the family. So it's like a little warring family thing, but I'm like, how? Let it go. It's been a long time. To be fair, the Blossoms are very rich and laud over everyone that they're the maple syrup family. So I guess if you felt like you got cheated out of that, you would also be mad, but that seems really aggressive. And Betty's like, that's ridiculous. And Hal like loses his mind and he screams like she's sick and she's not coming home until she's not sick anymore.
Bottom line, stay out of it. Stop asking where Polly is.
It was like, I don't know. Hal had a little bit of Alice Cooper come out in this episode.
True. Yeah.
Because before you were like, oh, her dad, he's watching the video of Polly. Like, it's really sad. He told a story about how he came home and found her when she was trying to hurt herself. And you feel really bad for him. And then you kind of see like, oh, like he is also a little unhinged.
Yeah.
Like, is he really telling the full truth too?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it.
He's unhinged about this family-to-family conflict.
Yes, this weird feud.
Yeah. Anyway, then we're back over at the Pembroke where Veronica talks to her mom about how the
she's like,
memorial...
I'm really glad you're my mom instead of Penelope Blossom.
She's like, I'm glad you're so protective of me. And she says, well, on that note, let me tell you about the snakes that were delivered to Pops while I was working there. Let me tell you
about what's in this box.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so then we know, Veronica finds out about the...
Yeah, so she
gets clued into all this outside serpent stuff there.
Yep. Then we're in the coach's office at school, and Archie's named captain of the
Good job, Archie.
Bulldogs. But then...
But
wait,
why?
Why?
But why?
Go ahead.
The coach goes... You showed, I like to embellish this, be like, you showed great leadership, Archie. He's like, you gave Jason, you took it upon yourself to retire Jason's jersey and you brought it to Mrs. Blossom, which is like the leadership of only a true captain would show.
Yep.
And then Archie like waxes poetic about how like that piece of himself that he'd have to give over if he was captain, like he needs to save it for something else. And it's like music. And everyone's like, oh, respect. Like, cool. All right. So
Archie's
Reggie
like, never mind, Reggie should have it.
Which is like
Reggie's
true.
Like, cool,
Reggie should be the captain. Literally all Reggie cares about is being the captain.
Yeah.
Archie like
Reggie
could
had his
not
plays
care less.
memorized. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Reggie probably also needs a football scholarship.
That's true.
Even though Reggie's like annoying, but whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. We'll get back to Reggie.
That time that Reggie was like, watch it Wednesday Addams to Jughead in the hallway. Never gonna forget it.
He can be a dick sometimes.
Yeah, Reggie's terrible.
Anyway, then we cut back to the music room real quick, where basically all that happens is Valerie looks at Archie, and then Archie looks at Valerie, and Valerie looks at Archie, and
she like leans in the doorway, and he like looks up, and they're both like smizing at each other, like really in like slow mo. It's like her hair is like wafting a little slow mo. It's like, oh, here we go again.
It's a little sultry.
Archie literally needs no turnaround time between girlfriends at all.
That music room also must have some sort of weird
sexual
effect.
energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like pheromones all over there.
Whew, my goodness.
It's like in order to enter, you need to down like 6 oysters and a glass of wine.
Yes, exactly.
And it's only Al Green songs.
Yeah, precisely.
Just that room.
Correct. So then we cut to the kind of end montage. Jughead tells us now that Jason's buried, it's time for something poison to bloom.
I loved this ending monologue. I thought it was really strong.
Everything in the Thornhill garden finds its way down the hill to the town.
Yeah, they're like, whatever grows in the rich black soil at Thornhill grows in the town. He's like secrets or lies.
Yeah.
Speaking of lies, this episode ends. I like the end of this episode.
This is a good nice little tidbit they give you.
It's Betty and Jughead at the blue and gold offices, and he's like, Betty, I hate to say this essentially, but like if your parents lied about Jason and Polly, they probably lied about some other stuff, don't you think? And he's like, how far would your dad go to protect Polly if he really thought she was being threatened? And Betty said, she comes to this realization and she's like, oh, whoever stole all that evidence from Sheriff Keller's house wasn't at the drive-in. And she's like, my dad wasn't at the drive-in.
And then we
see a flash of...
We have it confirmed in a dramatic irony sense in that we, the audience, see it, but Jughead and Betty don't know this for sure yet, where Hal did steal the evidence.
He's got it.
He's got all of it. He's looking at pictures with sticky
with
notes
his crazy eyes. He's
exactly.
roving over it. Like, it's like he couldn't believe that he actually took it, but like he... couldn't, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's like he was glad he had it, but he was like
didn't know what to do with it almost. He was a bit like the dog that caught the car.
Exactly. Yeah. The dog that caught the car. I like that.
You've never heard that?
No.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't take a genius to figure it out, or does it? Because Betty and Jughead are pretty good at sleuthing.
Yeah, they're pretty good sleuths.
So
and
then
bottom line,
they put the Coopers up on the murder board.
Yep, Coopers are up on the murder board. And next, what do we got to do? We got to find Polly.
Yeah.
That is the next step.
That's the last line. It's like, we need to talk to Polly.
Yep.
And they're both like, all right.
Boom. End card.
I'm like, finally. It only took 5 episodes for us to say, maybe we should talk to this dead kid's girlfriend who
let's find Polly.
For some reason has been sequestered and no one knows exactly where she is or exactly what she knows or the circumstances surrounding her disappearance or what actually happened between her and Jason at all.
Doesn't sound suspicious at all.
Maybe we should talk to her about it.
Yeah,
we should check in. We should check in with Polly. Let's check in with Polly. Just see what's up. Just see what's happening.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
all in all, this episode felt like a little bit of a filler episode.
Yeah, it wasn't a filler episode in that it does tie into the rest of the story.
Right. It's not like it doesn't do anything.
It seemed like a housekeeping episode to me, where it's like, all right, we got some plot points we need to start getting to.
It's a good point.
And so we got to get those in there because there is.
They had to kind of wrap up a little bit from the beginning and kind of transition to like the meatier side of the story.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, it was a fine episode. It was a little bit boring. Right. It's kind of skippable.
Yeah, it's like all the stuff with Archie and the music teacher, by the way, never comes back in the rest of the season. Like, it's pointless. It's pointless. It's a waste of minutes.
Half an episode.
It's a waste of minutes. Like, it's just a waste of your time to watch it. That part of the episode.
Yeah.
Not the whole episode, but that part I felt like that was long. Too much Fred and Hermione. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Too much.
Okay, I get it. They're going to put them together and she gets the job. I don't need to see them have like a long conversation about this.
True. Yep. And then, but the sleuthing was good.
Yeah, the sleuthing is the most
Cheryl,
interesting
Veronica
part. You know,
was
like
pretty good.
Finding out that Polly and Jason were engaged, and she got the family blossom ring, and that Jason was like selling all this stuff that he owns and trying to accrue money and selling drugs to run away. And it's like clearly they were probably going to run away together, seeing that they were engaged.
Yep.
And he was trying to get all this money and leave. I mean, we don't know that for sure, but that's what it would point to. And that's what we're going to find out when we talk to Polly in the next episode. It's
true. So,
guys, we meet Polly in the next episode.
Is Riverdale good?
Yeah, Riverdale's good.
Yeah, this one was
Riverdale's good.
This one was the kind of filler episode that's kind of like forgivable. It's like, okay.
It was like fairly thematic. And, you know, you like getting the background of the Blossoms. It's good to know why the Coopers hate the Blossoms.
Yep.
That kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay, like we've got enough extra exposition on the families and the relationships and all that stuff.
You get a pass for this week, Riverdale.
You get a pass, Riverdale. You don't get a pass for not telling us where Jughead is living.
That's true.
And also, if he's homeless, where did he get the suit?
Know. It's true.
He literally had one backpack to his name, and all of a sudden he shows up in a suit.
Thrift shop?
Boom. Boom.
No. Thank you for listening, everyone. Follow us on Twitter at Casual Critic Pod. Like us on Facebook and Instagram at Casual Critics Podcast. And you can always reach us at casualcriticspodcast@gmail.com. Also, rate and review us on iTunes. That helps us get the word out about the show.
Yes, and next time we'll talk about Chapter 6, Faster Pussycats Kill Kill.
Yep.
I like that title.
Yeah. That's the most like intense title I think we've had so far.
I love it. Yeah. We're going to dig further into the episode
let's see what
finally
happens.
meet Polly Cooper.
Let's meet Polly,
and
y'all.
We'll see you next time.
Woo. See you guys. Have a good one. Bye.